Greetings, my peeps, and welcome to the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD. In this episode, I will give you the trouble with Russell Simmons, as in Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, guys, so we're back. It's your boy GD, and I want to talk in this episode. First, let's talk about the trouble with Russell Simmons. We're not talking about the mogul from Def Jam days, not him. Talking about Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons. It's a tale of two players. One guy who shoots too much and isn't all that efficient, and then the other guy is one who doesn't shoot enough. So let's get into it. Russell Westbrook of the Los Angeles Lakers. We all know how he ended up with the Lakers. LeBron kind of recruited him over to get over there in a trade, which they did. So, and it was actually a choice of either Westbrook or Buddy Hield of the Sacramento Kings at the time. So, for reasons unbeknown to me, LeBron chose Westbrook. Even given the fact that Westbrook is a ball-dominant point guard. So, when it initially happened, I thought maybe LeBron said, you know what, let me play off the ball and let Russ do his thing and set me up and all those sort of things. So, that didn't happen, guys. So, you got two ball-dominant guys here on the team. And needless to say, it hasn't worked out all that well thus far. So, nonetheless, they are 1-5 now, for what that's worth. Pretty much rock bottom in terms of the West. But let's talk about Westbrook and what he's doing this year thus far. He's played 30 minutes. He missed one game. He's played 30 minutes per game, averaging 13.4 points per game, along with a little over 7 rebounds and nearly 5 assists. About a steal and a half, 2.5 turnovers, so nearly 5 assists with 2.5 turnovers. It's kind of 2.5 to 1, which isn't the greatest assist to turnover ratio, but now here's where it gets murky. He's 34.3% from the field. Whew, that's ugly. And mind you, he's shooting the ball over 13 times a game, which is pretty much about third on the team, but behind, obviously, LeBron and AD. And then from three-point range, he's shooting a whopping 20%. Gracious. And the thing is, he's hoisting up about 4 threes a game. A little over 4 threes a game. So, from the charity stripes, he's decent. About 71%, we'll say that, from the free throw line. But 20% from 3, come on. That's not good. Not good at all. And I was saying to someone, too, remember, he came in that same draft as Derrick Rose, which was the draft of 2008. 2008 draft. He was 4th. Derrick Rose was 1st. The reason I bring it up is because both guys are considered athletic type point guards. Both guys won MVPs in this league. And both guys, had has a lot of heart, a lot of explosion to their game. But uh, where the difference, where they kind of part ways, is that Derrick Rose has suffered quite a few injuries along the way in his career, many of which were career threatening. Yet he has reinvented himself as this sage six man with the New York Knicks, kind of like you know the temple of wisdom for the young guards over there. So and to top it off, his 3-point game is much superior to Russell Westbrook's, and of course his leadership has been invaluable over there. Whereas with Russell Westbrook, I mean, his game pretty much is what it is. If anything, it's on the decline. And I mean, he could probably pop you a triple double here and there, but he's just not that guy anymore. And you gotta understand. What does Barkley say? Father Time is undefeated. So, eventually, the way he plays with such reckless abandon, that's going to wear on you as the years go on. So that's the tale of the tape with Westbrook. We also know about they played 6 games. We know about Russ with the 0 for 11 game against the Clippers, where he went 0 for 11 from the field and 0 for 6 from 3. And that's the game where between him, Pat Bev, and also Kendrick Nunn, between them, they only had 1 field goal among them. That's bad, needless to say. And then we know about the game in which he botched up the 2 for 1 against the Portland Trailblazers, which and after the game they were saying they kind of read what Russ was going to do, so they acted accordingly. And they played it well. So he has that hanging over. So Russell Westbrook, does he still have value? Of course he does. I mean, he still can give you close to a triple double, given the amount of minutes he plays. But his efficiency, he was never all that efficient to begin with. His best year in terms of efficiency was when he was with Houston, where he shot over 47% from the field. That was back about 3 years ago. So so I think Russ at this point, he is what he is. And what the Lakers do from here on out, I'm not sure, but I would, if I were Jeannie Buss, owner of the Lakers, I'd say, you know what? I think I rode this LeBron and AD train as long as I can ride it. I need to cash out. In other words, start trading off pieces. I think they can trade off pieces. I know, those in the media is not going to love this because they love talking about the Lakers, and somehow they feel it's their. I said on the last episode, they feel that it's the Lakers' birthright to always make the playoffs and always be a contender. And that's not true. That is not true. The Lakers are like any other team. When it's time to rebuild, they should rebuild. So I think they're at that point. That's what I think. I know the season is young, but I don't see much improving. Thankfully, they've had Anthony Davis for at least 5 of the 6 games. So that's good. But, he's an injury waiting to happen, pretty much. Then you also want to manage LeBron. You don't want to overtax him. But you have pieces here where you can tear it down to the studs and bring in some young talent, bring in some draft picks, and you build the team that way. I think Darvin Ham, I don't want to say he's in over his head, because I think in time he can prove himself to be a good coach. I know it's early to say, but he says all the right things. It seems like he has a feel for this roster. So I think it's incumbent upon them just tear it down and let's see what he can do, what Darvin Ham can do with a young squad, and just start rebuilding and have him as the face of it. That would mean, trading off of LeBron. I understand, I get it. It's sacrilege, but you gotta start thinking about that. And then also too, while AD is healthy and playing well, you get some. You can probably get a great haul for him. So I know this is crazy talk, but it is what it is. I'm kind of digressing here because it was supposed to be about Russell Westbrook. But nonetheless, this is the fix that the Lakers are in. So I say tear it down to the studs and start over. I know there's all these different trade scenarios for Westbrook, but nobody bit in the off season. Nobody's biting now. So unless the Lakers are willing to give up draft picks, which they've been hesitant to do. So we'll see what happens there. So enough talk about the Lakers. Let me talk about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, we know, came over from the Sixers to the Nets in that trade for Harden. Didn't play all of last season. Didn't play in the playoffs for the Nets. He had the back issues. And we know coming in that he had the issue back in the playoffs where he refused to shoot the ball in the 2000 playoffs? Yeah, so where he refused to shoot the ball. So no, 2001, I'm sorry. And where he was at close range to the basket and wasn't shooting it. And let's talk about his numbers. Let's do that. Ben Simmons, he's played in about 6 games already himself. about 32 minutes he's average in playing time. Only over 6 points per game, a little over 7 assists, and 6.5 rebounds. Above a steal per game, about 2.5 turnovers. So you're talking about a 7 to 2.5. So about 3 to 1-ish. So you have that there. He's shooting 44.1% from the field, but he's only taking less than 5 field goals per game. You got to say, for a guy, he's a 6'11" guy, who's naturally a point guard. He's not forward, although he can defend multiple positions. But yeah, and it's funny because I'm in an NBA group on Facebook, and they were talking about Lamar Odom. And I wrote this that Lamar Odom was Very talented player. Very multifaceted. I said, this is the player that Ben Simmons should aspire to be. The player. Because Lamar Odom, I mean, could he have given you more with his talent? Probably so. But he was a perfect fit with those Lakers teams. He was kind of a jack of all trades, playing with Kobe and playing with those guys. And I just say that, you know, I think Simmons could, if he could rebrand his game into something like that, that he'd be the better for it. But I think right now the problem for Ben Simmons is that from the neck up, it's all in his head. It's all in his head. Oh, and by the way, from the free throw line, he's only shooting less than 47% from the free throw line. So he is absolutely shook when it comes to shooting field goals, of which thankfully he's only shot 2.5 per game. But his problem is from the neck up. And it reminds me of actually a baseball equivalent. I know I'm going to be dating myself with this, but Chuck Knobloch with the New York Yankees. He got traded from Minnesota, the Minnesota Twins. He actually wanted out from Minnesota and demanded a trade, and he got traded in 1998. Went to the Yankees. Mind you, in Minnesota, he was this great hitting second baseman and a great fielder as well. Came over to the Yankees, and right out the gate he struggled. Not only at the bat, but in the field, to a point where he couldn't even make a clean throw from second base to first base. In fact, one game, it's not funny. It's funny now that you reflect on it. One of his errant throws actually hit Keith Olbermann's mother. Keith Olbermann previously from ESPN, who's a big Yankee fan. But the throw hit his mother. She was fine, thankfully, but nonetheless, yeah. So Chuck Knobloch struggled big time over here. He stayed 3 years, got a couple of championships out of it, so they won him despite him. And then he went to Kansas City for a season. Then he was never heard from again. He left baseball. But I say all that to say, again, Knobloch's problem, it was all mental. Simmons' problem, also mental. So, yeah, when it's like that, therapy, yes, you probably should sit down with a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and kind of hash things out. But he's got a mental block that has to be broken. And it got so bad that one night against the Milwaukee Bucks, he's about 5 feet from the basket when Kyrie passes it to him. And you could hear Kyrie say, shoot it, shoot it. And he passes the ball. That's why I say it is absolutely mental. So, if you're the Nets and you got this guy who's he's a talented guy. He's able to do a lot of different things. Pass, rebound, defend. But he has he's mentally blocked when it comes to scoring. I don't know how you fix that other than sitting down with someone and talking it out. I don't think the team can talk it out of him. I just don't know what you do. But this is a guy, you traded for him. He's got, I believe, at least 3 more years on the deal. So, Could he be moved? Possibly so. He certainly can be moved. So, yeah. So you got both the Nets and the Lakers, some of which some folks have picked to be playoff teams and teams that could go on deep runs. I'm telling you right now, it's the way things stand right now. It's not going to happen for either one. And playoffs might not even be possible for either one. Yeah, I'll say that. The way things are currently constituted, I don't think either team makes playoffs unless they make drastic moves. So that is my little breakdown there of those two guys and the situation as a whole with Brooklyn and with the Lakers in terms of both guys. So, guys, just hang on in and I'll be back shortly. So, my peeps, if you like what you're listening to, you can go to my website, www.allthingsbasketballwithgd.com. You can also email me at thatsportsdudegd@gmail.com. To support this podcast, you can go to my PayPal, and that email is thatsportsdudegd@gmail.com. Also on my Anchor page, I have a support button there that you can also use to help the podcast. I'm on all the major platforms like Anchor, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon, SoundCloud, YouTube, Castbox, Radio Public, Podchaser, just to name a few. And also you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Clubhouse, and Fanbase. So once again, I thank you for listening and supporting this podcast. And take care and be safe.